Take the blue pill, Lori Anderson. Wake up in bed and do whatever you want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
The FBI has been in turmoil. You know that. I know that. Everybody knows that.
Those were lies, plain and simple.
He wanted to have dinner because he wanted to stay on. We had a very nice dinner at the White House very early on. A dinner was arranged. I think he asked for the dinner.
Is this an accurate statement?
No, sir.
Did you in any way initiate that dinner?
No. He called me at my desk at lunchtime and asked me, was I free for dinner that night?
After summoning Director Comey to dinner, the president appears to have threatened the director's job while telling him, quote, I need loyalty. I expect loyalty.
I didn't ask that question.
He asked
I didn't ask that question.
of loyalty.
I did not ask for
in the
loyalty.
context of asking me
I never
to
asked for
stay.
loyalty.
Did you at any time urge former FBI Director James Comey to back down the investigation into Michael Flynn? And also, as you look back...
No. Next question.
Quote, I hope, this is the president speaking, I hope you can see your way clear to letting this go, to letting Flynn go. He is a good guy. I hope you can let this go. Now, those are his exact words. Is that correct?
Correct. I took it as a direction.
What about the idea that in a tweet you said that there might be tape recordings?
Well, that I can't talk about. I won't talk about that. All I want is for Comey to be honest, and I hope he will be, and I'm sure he will be, I hope.
Lordy, I hope there are tapes.
Oh, Lordy, I hope there are tapes too. It's kind of funny. I mean, okay, it's been a month. My name's Eric West. This is The Beat San Francisco. You can find us at www.thebeatsf.com. That's where the news magazines is at, and a lot more. So it has been about a month since I've talked to you. And a lot has happened. And one of the first things that's happened is this.
The FBI has been in turmoil. You know that. I know that. Everybody knows that.
Those were
And David Ignatius.
Oops, sorry.
The FBI has been in turmoil. You know that. I know that. Everybody knows that.
Those were lies.
That word. Those were lies. Isn't that fantastic? It's getting to the point now where everybody is finally calling it what it is. And it is the lies. It is lies, and more lies. Because this president has lied. They can prove it. Just freaking DuckDuckGo it. I don't say Google it unless I have to. But you don't have to Google it. You can DuckDuckGo it. 73% of the time on an average. Okay? So like those of you watching on the video, it's like that much he lies and like that much he tells the truth. Less than 30%, like 20 some odd. 20% of the time. No. That doesn't make any sense. Again.
If somewhere within the Bible, I were to find a passage that said 2 + 2 = 5, I wouldn't question what I'm reading in the Bible. I would believe it, accept it as true, and then do my best to work it out and to understand it.
That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit.
You have got to be kidding.
Thank you. It doesn't make sense. It's a whole new world out there that doesn't make any sense because his followers also believe and keep saying that this Comey thing that's now happened, where he is truly under investigation, is also crap. And the reason that they're saying it's crap just doesn't make sense. And let me explain why.
The administration then chose to defame me and, more importantly, the FBI. The administration then chose to defame me and, more importantly, the FBI by saying that the organization was in disarray, that it was poorly led, that the workforce had lost confidence in its leader. Those were lies, plain and simple. And I am so sorry that the FBI workforce had to hear them, and I'm so sorry that the American people were told them.
So, this Friday, of course, it starts to get deeper and deeper now that we know that the president is under investigation for obstruction of justice. And his biggest proponents, I guess, is what you want to call these people, the liars and hangers on that are out there and are just still hanging on to every word he says as being true when it's all con man bullshit. He's a fucking Russian agent. Forgive me for the not, but he's a Russian agent. Yeah, that's one of those times I'm just going to say it. He's just, And you know, like I said on my last show, which was just a, really quick cast, going to pick up groceries. This is going to end up being Flynn being investigated started this road down to the fact that we already knew this man was a launderer for Russian oligarch money, because that was the only people that would finally loan to him. Deutsche Bank, one of the dirtiest banks in America. In America. Oh no, sorry, in the world. Is one of his prime lenders. Supposedly he owes over $300 million to them. And I guess the Friday he put out trying to do the news cycle dump some financial stuff that showed he has about 1.4 billion somewhere or something, but doesn't really show us where he gets his money from. Just shows us where he has his assets, and that he has supposedly around 1.4 billion in assets. I don't. Okay, maybe, but if that's what he's got, I can almost guarantee you that there's about, probably, if you could add everything up, somewhere in the neighborhood of around 2 to 3 billion in debt. Because I don't think he's worth it. I think he needed another 100 million or so to be completely out of debt once this is all over. And that's a lot of all overing. But there's a few other things that have popped up that are going to make a difference in the next couple of weeks. Because the next couple of weeks, I think, is going to be pretty much the end of this administration. And that's like, a lot of people are like going, no, that's too soon. That's too quick. I'm getting the snowball down the hill. I'm getting the snowball down the hill that was at the top of the hill, about, 20 feet down. It was still a snowball and kind of not quite going down the hill. But now every day is something new, something that shouldn't be there. So one of the other things that popped up this week was this.
Here's something that I believe all Americans would care about. I believe my dad in Goldwater would care about this. Russian breach of 39 states threatens future U.S. elections. This in Bloomberg. Russia's cyber attack on the U.S. electoral system before Donald Trump's election was far more widespread than has been publicly revealed. How many times have I said we're only at the tip of the electoral iceberg?
Tip.
It's all a hoax. Come on.
Iceberg,
Come on, Stephanie.
Dead ahead.
Iceberg, dead ahead.
Then has been publicly revealed, including incursions into voter databases and software systems in almost twice as many states as previously reported. In Illinois, investigators found evidence that cyber intruders tried to delete or alter voter data. The hackers accessed software designed to be used by poll workers on Election Day, and in at least one state accessed a campaign finance database.
Oh, my God.
And all the Russian hackers hit systems in a total of 39 states. How do people still with a straight face say this obviously didn't have any effect on the outcome?
Look, before...
How could it knock? They knocked people off the rolls. And I was hearing Bob Seska, in fact.
And we do enough damage of our own, too.
In some cases, it was during the primary knocking Bernie voters off the rolls. But to add to this whole idea that the DNC was rigging it when it was Russia, that this was part of the Russian active measures.
And we found that this is so true. It's kind of scary. It was a combination of things. Number one, Russia. Yeah, we kind of figured through that. And the part that drives me nuts about these Trump apologists and these anti-Russian, no, that didn't happen. If that didn't happen, why is it that it's already been found in France, is going on in Germany, was part of Brexit? It's not just our intelligence groups. And I hate using that word intelligence because so many people that would object to what I'm saying have none and don't understand that intelligence is other definition of intelligence. Information being brought in to let you know of your opponents. That's also intelligence. You lack the other definition if you don't get that. That's okay.
Now, Biff, don't con me.
Which is what is happening every day. Because these apologists are still saying that there was no Russia, there was no Okay, what's driving me nuts is the way they're putting it now. And it hurt. The reason it takes me a minute to step back and explain it is because it hurts so badly that they're saying there is no obstruction right now because there was no original crime, because there was no Russia. Think about that. There was no crime because Russia didn't do it. Oh, and that whole Flynn thing? That people keep forgetting about? Yeah, see, they keep forgetting about a couple of things when we go back to this obstruction of justice and why this snow ball is now a huge boulder rolling towards the White House, even during these climate change days when it's 90 degrees. It's rolling without stop. There's nobody going to stop it. There's nobody going to stop it. It ain't going to be stopped. Sorry, it ain't going to be stopped. But the reason it's not going to be stopped is the idiot in chief won't shut up. He won't let it go. He won't let the fact that most people have forgotten about Flynn. And Flynn is the issue because they knew Flynn was dirty. And they still kept asking to stop. Yeah, you got a he said, she said. But everybody keeps forgetting about the Flynn factor. The fact that he is still there and he was dirty already. And they knew it. But they don't mention that anymore. We're going off into this whole new direction. But don't worry, the FBI will bring us back. And when we get back, we'll continue on with what else is going on. Because there's still a lot more.
Dear John, I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to when you checked on me? I don't want to leave, but remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range today. Find out how at heart.org/bloodpressure. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
I knew that there might come a day when I would need a record of what had happened, not just to defend myself, but to defend the FBI and our integrity as an institution and the independence of our investigative function.
Now, forgive me a little, but just understand what he's
I
saying.
knew that there might come a day when I would need a record of what had happened, not just to defend myself, but to defend the FBI.
Yeah, you're talking about having to have a meeting with the commander-in-chief. And in having that meeting with that commander-in-chief, you're worried about having to now, this is the third president you've worked for. And you've never had to take a note about either one of them yet.
I knew that there might come a day when I would need a record of what had happened, not just to defend myself, but to defend the FBI and our integrity as an institution and the independence of our investigative function.
Think about that. You got the FBI director saying, in order to make sure that the president doesn't defame us, I had to write everything down.
He said it was a combination of things that made him decide to take notes. He said it was a combination of things that made him decide to take notes.
Now understand what the deep meaning is here. Okay, now just to get back to where we ended the second segment. The apologists for Trump who keep saying that there's nothing wrong, forget about Flynn. That's A. B, again and again, it's been shown by everybody, the obstruction of justice is, even if there wasn't, it doesn't matter if there was anything he was guilty of. He is still guilty of trying to stop an investigation. Any investigation, even the attempt to try and stop it is the problem, but they're not seeing that. So I don't, I can't go any further for them. I mean, they just don't understand that, even though there may not be any guilt from the original piece, there is guilt. We have guilt. Yes, we do. But, okay, so what?
I knew that there might come a day when I would need a record of what had happened, not just to defend myself, but to defend the FBI.
So now, think about this.
He said it was a combination of things that made him decide to take notes. The circumstances, the subject matter, and third, the nature of the person. Here is what James Comey said about the nature of the person.
And then the nature of the person. I was honestly concerned that he might lie about the nature of our meeting, and so I thought it really important to document.
The nature of the person.
The nature of the person. Gah! Think about that. What he's saying is, just in meeting this man, the few times that he did meet him, he was so worried about what was coming from this man, what he perceived as would be happenstance, and what would happen from this man, being the con artist that he is.
I know words. I have the best words.
No, you don't.
Not presidential.
That's very true.
I don't stand by anything.
We know that now. And the other thing he can't stop doing is, so it was known by the...
He said it was a combination of things that made him decide to take notes. The circumstances, the subject matter, and third, the nature of the person.
The nature of the person. He already knew that this man was a con artist. This is the director of the FBI. He's not, he spent some years out on the field, in the field. He really did. He spent years in the field. And what a lot of people don't realize is the FBI originally, and today they still do to get to that level, but originally to be in the FBI, you had to be an attorney. Full-fledged, out of law school attorney. It kind of lessened that during the Reagan era, but... So a lot of the people that were in there were already seasoned prosecutors or public defenders, even. They needed both sides.
Before the Washington Post reported tonight that the president is now under investigation by Bob Mueller for possible obstruction of justice. The biggest Russia news of the day came out of the U.S. Senate. The Senate voted overwhelmingly today to limit the president's power on scaling back sanctions on Moscow. It's a bit of a double negative, but the vote is, as you might have guessed, in response to Moscow's hacks on our election. The vote was 97-2, with Republicans Rand Paul of Kentucky and Mike Lee of Utah voting against it, both with their reasons. Plus, our own Casey Hunt confirming tonight that Director of National Intelligence Dan Coats will testify behind closed doors tomorrow to the Senate Intel Committee.
That's kind of interesting, isn't it? So now since we last talked, we've got Mueller, so we got the special, and then we got so it's been like this roller coaster. And like I said, I still give it about 3, maybe 4 more weeks, and we're going to be pretty much at the end of this crap. But also at the beginning of a whole new set of bull. And I mean, loads of bull. Because if he steps down like I think he's going to, even though a lot of people are saying, no, it's going to take everything we do to get him out, everything we can do to get him out. That's kind of scary. Think about that. We have to do what to get this man out? And wow, that's going to be kind of scary. Because he's not going to leave. He's just not going to leave voluntarily, I don't think. Or a lot more people are saying he's not going to leave voluntarily.
I was alone with the President of the United States, or the President-elect, soon to be President. The subject matter, I was talking about matters that touch on the FBI's core responsibility and that relate to the President-elect personally, and then the nature of the person.
Against the nature of the person. But now we've got the FBI coming down on the... Okay, let me back up a little. Let me explain to you why I think this is going to only be a few more weeks, too, because I've only got a few minutes left in the first half of the show. And then we go into the extra show. The FBI has got the investigation going, and we know that they're going to find something that may be Russia-related in collusion prehand, or may be related to how they got him to run in the first place. And I think a lot of it's going to come into how they finally got him to run in the first place. And I think a lot of that's going to be dealing with how he got his money. Again, I think this is about $100 million. Now you've got the FBI doing an investigation. And as of this week, you actually have the Senate also now piling on.
Before the Washington Post reported tonight that the president is now under investigation by Bob Mueller for possible obstruction of justice. The biggest Russia news of the day came out of the U.S. Senate. The Senate voted overwhelmingly today to limit the president's power on scaling back sanctions on Moscow. It's a bit of a double negative, but the vote is, as you might have guessed, in response to Moscow's hacks on our election. The vote was 97-2, with Republicans Rand Paul of Kentucky and Mike Lee of Utah.
Let me correct that. It wasn't Mike Lee of Utah. It was actually Bernie Sanders who did that. Okay, coming up in the last minutes. So now we've got the FBI, we've got the Congress, all saying, hold on, Russia, you're no. Sorry. Stop. We got issues. And then the more intel that comes out from the FBI that the senators are seeing, we're seeing more and more that there's something going on here. There really is something going on here. I don't know if they're going to find collusion per se, but just the fact that Flynn was already dirty, and they knew it. They knew Flynn was dirty. And there's more to come. There's a lot more to come. And it's going to get worse. And it's only going to be a few weeks, because this is rolling downhill like there is no tomorrow. It is rolling downhill in a way that makes sure that this will be fallacious. It will be money laundering. It will be RICO. I don't know if they will find actually ultimate collusion. I know they will find payments to Flynn that don't make sense. They will find payments to Manafort that don't make sense. And it will all be for a few $100 million.